Hello everyone and welcome. I would just like to start off by thanking you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to learn more about TurboDrum. TurboDrum is a new and exciting product that hit the market in Canada in the 2019 harvest season, and I'm excited to share new opportunities about this product that will help your customers when cutting their crops. We all know downtime is the enemy when harvest time rolls around, and it is very important that our customers and yours are achieving good time management, as there are only so many hours in a day that can be spent in the field harvesting. My name is Keegan Ludwar, and I am a regional parts manager for Westward Parts, taking care of Saskatchewan territory. I also work closely with all other RPMs in different territories that Westward Parts covers and serves for many different product offerings, including TurboDrum. Today we are going to go over the following: TurboDrum history, key features, models, MacDon TurboDrum crank end plate differences, and go over some TurboDrum videos that were caught in the 2019 harvest season. TurboDrum is a collaborative effort by experienced farmers in Filborn Manufacturing's Mr. Laurie Phillips, built in Mearden, Western Australia. The first TurboDrum rolled onto farms in October 2016. A number of other TurboDrums were also fully field tested and proven across a variety of different crop conditions and types in the 2016 harvest. TurboDrum was developed in response to the issues farmers were experiencing in heavy and tough harvesting conditions. Improving the feed quality was also intended to improve the machine output and crop control characteristics. TurboDrum was designed with quality and reliability to ensure optimal performance outcomes along with results. Key features: there are more fingers on TurboDrum than OEM models. The TurboDrum diameter is smaller compared to OEMs, allowing for more feeding capacity between the drum and the feeder house. By narrowing the diameter of the drum, this allows for the auger flooding to be dramatically heightened and repitched. Ease of maintenance with 3 access holes for replacing fingers when working inside of the TurboDrum. Solid steel fingers and split finger holders complements the TurboDrum very well. The split finger holder design allows for damaged finger to be changed and for your customer to be back in the combine seat within 5 minutes. The crankshaft has a larger diameter compared to OEMs, measuring in 1 3/8", along with being solid steel. OEM shafts are smaller diameter and aren't nearly as strong, allowing the crankshaft to bend while harvesting in heavy conditions, causing major repairs. The TurboDrum has a more aggressive fighting pattern for grabbing and feeding crop into the feeder house, along with 24 solid steel fingers being the first point of contact to the crop. Plugging before and after feeder house has been proven not to be an issue in tough and heavy crop conditions. The finger timing adjustment is robustly designed and easy to change as required. For best practice in timing, have your fingers fully extended out of the drum at 2:30 on a 12-hour clock spectrum for optimal performance. And there is also a noticeable increase in harvest capacity along with faster harvest speeds. Model options: MacDon, Case, John Deere, Honeybee, and New Holland. MacDon and Case. The TurboDrum will fit the following OEM draper headers: the MacDon FD70 and the MacDon FD75, the Case 2142, 52, and 62 series. It is important to note that the Case 21 series is the exact same setup as the FD70, requiring a CA20 adapter. The MacDon FD75, however, requires a CA25 adapter. The John Deere TurboDrum will fit the following OEM draper headers: the 625D all the way to the 640D, an older model which is the 936D, and also the flex drapers, the 630 all the way to the 645. The Honeybee TurboDrum will fit the following OEM draper headers: the 94C. There is also other model options that the TurboDrum may fit. We just need to figure out the dimensions of the OEM offerings in order to compare it to the TurboDrum measurements to make sure everything will work. As inquiries come in, we will advise. New Holland and C&H TurboDrum will fit the following OEM draper headers: the New Holland 840CD and the 880CF, and the Case IH 3152 and 3162. Now I want to go over MacDon end plate timing differences, as this is very important when you purchase a MacDon TurboDrum. When retrofitting a TurboDrum to a MacDon FD70 CA20 adapter or an FD75 CA25 adapter, there are different component requirements depending on what flex striper header you are working on. When talking to your customers, you will need to clarify which model they are working on, as this is vital. When retrofitting a TurboDrum on a CA20 adapter, you will be required to install the circular end plate along with a timing mechanism. When retrofitting a TurboDrum on a CA25 adapter, you will be required to install a different end plate along with an aftermarket sprocket because of the updated drive system on a CA25 that has 60 heavy endless drive chain. This procedure only adds additional minutes to the retrofit. Retrofit components listed within the next slide. And I will go over that for you in the next slide. We have some pictures here that'll clear up everything that I was just stating. So now this is where all the visual representation comes together when I was talking in the previous slide. So for a MacDon CA20, you're going to require part number TDR103. And we're referring back to when I was talking about the circular end plate on the right hand side, and along with your timing mechanism, slot, and your bearing. So what it does is it all comes together as one and slides over the crankshaft on the right hand side where it's exposed, and then when you're finishing your timing and you have everything locked in place at a 230 position, you'll put a vice grip on your fingers, and then you go back to that slide-in bearing with 8 Allen screws on it and tighten those all up in order to make sure everything's secure and in place. For the MacDon CA25, you're going to require part number TDR104. Now what that is, it's the same thing as the CA20, it's just set up a little bit differently because of the updates from the CA20 to the CA25. So you're going to do the same routine, everything's going to be the exact same, it's just going to mount a little bit differently on the right hand side of the drum. The TDR105 you need for the CA25, as I mentioned before in the previous slide, where you will mount that right to the TurboDrum on the left-hand side where your drive is, and then you'll put your idler back on and everything in place, and then that'll turn in one unison, and that's what drives the whole unit. So you just take that endless chain, that 60 heavy chain, put everything back in place around your idler and everything, and then that will complete the operation of what you're doing with the TurboDrum. Now we're going to go over some slides and videos that we have from the previous season and just give you some information and kind of put everything all together, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit this week. Now this first video was taken in 2018 actually in New Zealand, and they're running about 225 bushels per acre in barley, but you can see how nice the crop flow is, and the crop is not even touching the cross augers, so it's just nice flowing consistent speed, and then can take on a lot of capacity. This second video was taken out by St. Paul, Alberta, and that's farmer Rick in the cab there. Really likes the TurboDrum. If you ever want anybody to talk to of how the TurboDrum operates, he's the guy to talk to from personal experience. The crop's got a lot of wind and snow damage, but it's still feeding very nicely. And overall, Rick is very happy with the performance of the TurboDrum. These are a couple of farmers down in Plentywood, Montana. They had experienced some trouble on their 2162 45-foot Case IH header, and they bent their crankshaft. They're looking for solutions, so they ended up going with TurboDrum, and they're very happy with the way it turned out and the way it's feeding. This is a video of the TurboDrum just running after an install. I actually took this while I was down in New Zealand. But it just gives you a good visualization of the drum and how it runs and how aggressive it looks. This is another snapshot down in Plentywood, Montana, just from a different angle. But you can see how nice and flowing the crop is going into the drum, and the drum feeding into the feeder house. And show this video a lot because I really like the angle of it, and it really does show what the TurboDrum is capable of. Guys thought I actually sped up this video, but he's going about 4.5 miles per hour. This is a video of a John Deere 640 FD that I did an install out by Fort Capel, Saskatchewan last year, and the gentleman running the combine right now, his name is Mark Nargain. He runs two 640 FDs. He was having a bit of trouble with backfeeding and unplugging and stuff with his OEM John Deere drum, so he thought he'd give the TurboDrum a go. And this is canola here, and it actually got a little bit of snow damage on it. It's a little bit laid down and heavy, but Mark is very happy with the results of the TurboDrum and how it's feeding nice and consistently. There is use of the cross augers, but canola is a very, very large crop, so you need all the help you can get. But it's nice, consistent flow into the drum, into the feeder house, and he'll show you here in a minute. But he's running 3.5 miles per hour. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you once again for taking the time out of your busy schedules to tune in and watch this TurboDrum presentation. I really do enjoy talking about TurboDrum, as I believe it is an upgrade to your customers' headers and operations, as there is a lot of advantages to the TurboDrum. I look forward to answering any questions you have or provide you with more information. Take care and have a great day.